How do you turn 10,000 raw rows into 5 clean answers? That's what Group BY and Having do. Total sales per city, average score per class in one query. By the end, you'd bucket data and then filter those buckets. It's one of the most useful things SQL does, so let's get into it. Imagine a shoebox full of shop receipts. Group BY is you're sorting them into piles, one pile per store. Then instead of reading every receipt, you just write one total on each pile. That's the whole idea. In short, Group BY makes piles and we report one summary number per pile. Let me translate the jargon before we use it. An aggregate function like count or sum takes many rows and gives back one number. Group BY decides which rows share a pile, and having throws away piles you don't care about. Keep those three in your head and the rest is easy. Before grouping, meet the summarizers. Count tells you how many, SUM adds a column, and ABG gives the average. Run this and you get exactly one row back, describing the entire table. Notice there's no group BY yet, so the whole table is treated as a single giant pile. Now here's the trick. Add group by city and SQL makes one pile per city, then runs COUT separately on each. So instead of one row for everything, you get one row per city with its own count. Whatever you group by, you're allowed to also select because every row in that pile shares it. Picture the rows lining up. All the Delhi rows drift into one group, all the Mumbai rows into another. Watch how each colored group collapses into a single summary row at the end. That collapse is the heart of Group BY. Here's the rule people trip on. Every column and select must either be in your Group BY or wrap in an aggregate. This query is broken because a Delhi pile has many customer names, so SQL can't pick just one. In short, don't ask for a single value from a pile that holds many. So you made your piles. Having is the bouncer that checks each pile and keeps only the ones that qualify. Here we only keep cities with more than 100 orders. You couldn't do this earlier because that count doesn't exist until the piles are formed. This is the big one to get right. Where runs before grouping and filters individual rows, so it can't see a sum yet. Having runs after grouping and filter the piles using aggregates. Think of it as a two-stage checkpoint, where at the door for people, having at the door for the finished piles. True story. For years, I'd instinctively write where can't star greater than 100 and get an error every single time. The fix finally stuck when I remembered where happens before the counting even starts, so of course it can't see a count. Move that condition to having and it just works. Clean. Here's a performance angle nobody tells beginners. If you filter raw values in having, SQL still builds every pile first, then throws most away. Move that same condition to here and it filters rows before grouping, so you build fewer piles from the start. On a million row table, that's the difference between instant and painful. Rule of thumb, raw values go in here, group totals go in here. Let me save you some pain. Number 1, putting an aggregate in where, that's an error. Number 2, selecting a column that isn't grouped or aggregated. And number 3, using an aggregate but forgetting Group BY, which quietly collapses everything into one row when you wanted many. Watch for these 3 and you'll dodge most Group BY headaches. A quick compare. Group BY collapses rows into summaries, which is perfect for reports, but you lose the detail. Window functions can add a running total or an average while keeping every original row, great when you want both. And distinct only removes duplicates, it doesn't summarize. Pick Group BY when you truly want one row per category. So there's the whole lesson. Aggregates crush many rows into one number, Group BY decides the piles, where filters rows before and having filters piles after. Keep select honest by only asking for grouped or aggregated columns and you're golden. That was a lot to take in. A like and a follow, take none.